Meet Codename Goose, your on-machine open-source AI agent, built to automate your tasks. Codename Goose is an intelligent and autonomous agent capable of handling complex tasks thanks to its core features. Connect with apps and tools you already use with extensions. Built on the Model Context Protocol, you can connect to extensions like GitHub, integrate JetBrains IDEs, access Google Drive, or build your own custom integrations for Goose. For a curated list of extensions, visit our docs. With a wide range of compatible large language model providers, you can choose and integrate your preferred model. You can also run Goose as a desktop app or through the command line interface using the same configurations across both. You can think of Goose as an assistant, ready to take your instructions and do the work for you. Able to handle a wide range of tasks across various engineering domains. Here are examples of tasks Goose has helped people with already. Goose has helped dive into a new project in an unfamiliar coding language, conduct code migration such as Ember to React or Ruby to Kotlin, increase code coverage, and even generate unit tests for a feature, and much more. To get started using Goose right away, check out our quick start and be the first to know about upcoming features by joining our community.
What's going on, everybody? Hello around the world. Thanks for dropping in. We got Roselle in chat. We got chat Botorus. How's it going? Good to see you. And we got hello from San Diego as well. Hey, Ravi. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Goose and Around. I'm Ian. I'm a developer advocate here at Block. And with me, I've got an old buddy, Matt. Matt and I worked together at a previous company, but it's SendGrid. Matt, can you believe it's been a decade since we worked at SendGrid?
No, I don't like to talk about that. It's been way too long, man.
When I edit this video later, I'm just going to cue the Jurassic Park music over this. And yeah, but yeah, it's been a hot minute since we worked together, but we've hung out a bunch over the past little while, just reconnecting a little bit. And yeah, let's say hi to some other folks here. We got looks like Brussels maybe. And we got Matt saying hello as well, hanging out on YouTube. Cool. So what we wanted to do today is I wanted to reconnect with Matt a little bit and show him how Goose could automate some things about his business. We see a lot of videos. We've done a lot of, goosing around. We've done the wild goose chase. Or goose case. We've done like kind of the head-to-head vibe coding battles that Roselle does. The one yesterday was great. I definitely need you to go check those out on our YouTube channel. And what I wanted to do is kind of walk Matt through coding is fine, but what if we could get Goose to automate something about his business? And so that's what we're going to spend some time on the live stream today. Of course, the demo gods being who they are, the one thing that we wanted to try to get working today through Zapier is not working. So we're going to try and find a workaround. We're going to see if Goose can build us a workaround. And we're going to dive in on that a little bit. So Matt, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about just high level what your business does and the kind of things that we talked about, could Goose automate this? What about this? Because ultimately what we want to get to by the end of the stream today is how can Goose sort of build us a process or build us a Goose recipe that we can then run in headless mode and run that as a cron job or just something you can run from the terminal or something like that.
Yeah, so actually my business stems directly from the job that I started doing when we first started working together. So my first product job was actually at SendGrid back in the day, and I started working in product management after being a software developer back in the day, and since then I've done a couple of other product roles, and now I'm working with smaller tech startups, some publicly traded companies doing consulting, everything from fractional product work to tech consulting, and spending a lot of time with companies doing this kind of stuff, actually, not just for myself, but with them, trying to demystify tech, help them to put tech into their companies, helping them use AI. I'm learning every single day. So like, Ian, we've talked a lot about Goose before, but I've never used it. And so, Ian was like, hey, come play. I'll show you how Goose works. And I was like, yeah, man, I want to use it. And so like, I'll be a test subject on the live stream, and
Awesome.
it would be great. I'd love to learn it live and see how things go. So
Sweet. Well, the idea today is that I'm basically going to coach Matt through how to use Goose. So we're going to be sharing Matt's screen, and Matt's going to be doing all the work here. And so we'll chat a little bit about some ideas around what we call prompt engineering, and how do we send a prompt to AI in order to do some things for us. And that's basically what we're going to get into here. So Matt, tell us real quick, like, what kinds of things are you looking to sort of automate as part of your process? Because you do lots of calls, you do lots of video calls like this. Tell me a little bit about like the kinds of things that would save you some time over the course of your week.
Yeah, so I have 4 or 5 active clients right now, but I'm always doing business development, talking to lots of different folks. I meet with lots of people all week. I've had weeks where I've had 50 calls, and so I've picked up an app called Granola, which is amazing because it will just pop up and transcribe calls for me. I take meeting notes, and I'll get action items, I'll get notes, all of that. And sometimes like I'll get those action items and I desperately want to follow up, but it will get buried. And so, one of the things we talked about was, is there a way that I could actually get, my unified task list out of Granola, so that, it's great that I'm getting all of these transcripts, but automating that and getting that task list out, and then being able to, follow up on that in a, intuitive, prioritized way would be really great.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're going to dive in on a couple of different tools here, and we're going to see what we can figure out how to automate some of this stuff for Matt. And I might have found us a workaround in the time that we've been chatting. So Why don't you go ahead and share your screen, and we'll pull that up here, and we'll take a look at kind of the stuff that you would do on, using a tool like Granola. And we'll show the Goose interface, and we'll kind of get rolling from there. So Matt has installed Goose, and he has gotten that connected to, I believe, GPT.
Yep.
And the nice thing about Goose is you can choose whichever LLM you want. And so let's zoom in a little bit on Goose here. So if you want to Command plus on this, we'll zoom in nice and big here so that folks can see what's going on. So we have GPT up and running. And then tell us a little bit about like this Granola tool and what this Granola tool does.
Yeah. So what'll happen is that, typically what'll happen is that when I have a new meeting on the calendar, since it's integrated, it'll pop up and I'll get a little icon up here, but you can see that it'll start like getting a transcript. So actually, Ian, if you start talking.
Sure. My name is Ian, and I work at Block.
So it'll actually start to transcribe what you're saying. It doesn't transcribe me because I'm on the machine, but it transcribes you. I can stop that, and then it will actually generate the notes right now. It'll add that to this notes. There's not a lot here, so it's too brief, so it'll complain, and that's fine. But then what I can do is I can add this to my folder, and now we'll have this intro call with Ian from Block. For our call, I use ChatGPT to make some silly meeting notes because I can't put my actual client notes in this call.
Of course.
So I sold 10,000 widgets this quarter. And so we put these into this folder, And these are pretty typical meeting notes from from Granola, and then it always gives you this link. The big thing with Granola though is that because they're moving super fast, is that they don't really have an API. You can only like push things out from Granola. So I can't actually reach into Granola to pull data out.
Okay. So they've got like webhooks into tools like Zapier and some other ones that we saw there. What I'd like to see is whether Goose can access Granola. And one of the nice things about Goose is there's an extension called Computer Controller. And Matt, if you want to go over to your settings real quick, we'll show everybody that we've enabled this. So if you go to extensions, yep, and we'll go ahead and enable that Computer Controller. And now that's going to be on for the duration of this session. And let's go back to chat from here. So what I'd like to do is try to figure out, like, can Goose access the Granola app and, access the meeting notes or access the action items, things like that. So we did a really, really quick test of like, hey, can you access Granola? And we actually saw Goose activate that window. And so what we want to do is we want to see like, hey, Goose, can you go into my action items tab and pull those out? Now, the nice thing about Goose is it's an AI agent. And so we don't want to just give it like a single chore. We want to give it like a multi-step thing. Like, so before we submit this to Goose, what do you want Goose to do with these notes? Like, what would be really helpful for you to do with these notes, change them in some kind of way, or take those action items and put them on your calendar? Like, what would be helpful to you to get this data out of Granola?
Yeah, for me, it would be like actually going in and finding like things that we've said that either the person I'm talking to said they would do, or things that I've said I would do.
Okay.
So, it's those action items or, those specific actionable things. And so let's go ahead and I think, so look at my recent meeting notes and find anything that either I or the person in the meeting said they would do during the meeting. So I can follow up. So something like that.
Okay.
And I absolutely love AI because I mistype stuff all the time. So I'm leaving that misspelled the there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, so let's zoom in on this just a little bit more so that folks can see. So yeah, just Command plus on this a bunch. Yep. Find anything that either I or the person said they would do, and then what do we want to do with it from there? Like, if Goose can access this, what do you want it to do with those action items?
I mean, can we start simple and just like have it put it into like my Mac Notes app?
Maybe, yeah. Let's say, if there are any items, open my Mac Apps application and put them in a new document. And let's see what Goose is capable of here. And then I've got one other thing that we'll try, depending on how this goes.
Let's do named after the meeting note you found it in. Let's see if it can do that. Why not?
Yep. So I'm hoping that the computer controller now is going to go activate the app and then like kind of poke around a little bit and see what it has access to. All right, looks like I don't have direct access to Granola's app's contents. Okay, we can use a few other approaches. So it's asking you like, hey, can you go manually do these things? All right, so it looks like that's probably not going to work for us. So it sounds like your puppy's
I'm
upset about something. Yeah, no worries. All right, so I've got one other thing that we can try. I'm just not sure how we're going to get this set up, but we'll give it a shot here. I'm going to send you a chat message, a private chat message here in StreamYard.
Okay.
But if you want to go check this out, it looks like somebody has built an MCP server for Granola. I just don't know how we're going to get it set up and what it's got access to, but it looks like it can go grab the transcripts. It looks like it's going to need a document ID though. So that's where we're going to have to try to figure out, like, how do we get those document IDs?
Oh, that's actually pretty easy. So what we do is actually in the meeting notes, one of them is right here. So
right.
we actually...
But we need a way to extract that out of Granola without you being in here and manually like copying those things. Like, we want you to be able to just go into Goose and say, grab my to-do items from Granola and, you know, process those for me, kind of thing. Like, we want to build this in a replicable way that you don't have any manual work to do. That's the point of Goose. We want Goose to be kind of your sidekick here. And so we want it to be able to go grab this stuff for us. I was really hoping that the computer controller would have been able to go into the app and actually like click on those things. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if you can tell it, like, let's pull Goose and Granola kind of side by side a little bit. I'm a little bit curious how far we can kind of push the computer controller here as far as what we can tell it to do. So in the prompt, so let's go back to just the opening page on Granola here. Okay. And let's see if we can tell Goose, open my Granola app and click on the meeting about meeting Ian from Block. Or click on my notes and pull up the notes from my meeting with Ian from Block. I'm just curious how well it can kind of look at what's going on your computer in order to go figure out what to go click on and what it's capable of doing here. We're gonna really stretch some capabilities here, I think.
Okay, let's see.
You got Angie in chat. Is there not a Granola MCP? There's not an official one, no. So Granola has webhooks into Zapier, and Zapier has MCP, and that's originally what we were going to wire up today. Unfortunately, Zapier today is having problems actually setting up Granola. We did that a little bit before the call, and we just saw this massive like screen dump of errors in the JavaScript console. So unfortunately, that's not going to work for us. So I did find a third-party Granola MCP, but it looks like it requires you to already know the document ID. So what I'm hoping we can do here with the computer controller is tell Goose, go into Granola and grab those document IDs. Although if it can do this from Granola, then we may not even need that MCP. We can just tell Goose, like, go open the app, scrape the data out of it. Unable to directly capture a screenshot from the Granola app at this time. Okay.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I'm kind of curious why it can't grab that screenshot. Because again, we don't want you to have to manually do anything here. The whole idea of this is we want you to automate this, put it in a recipe, and then we can just run that recipe in kind of headless mode and, you know, run it as a cron job on your system to, like, once a day, just go grab all these things, or grab it at the end of the day, go grab all those notes so you've got it ready for tomorrow. All right, so that's not going to work for us either. All right, live demos are great, aren't they?
Yeah, so it's interesting, though, that it's calling, like, it's looking for window title Granola, and it's saying no window found with title Granola. I wonder, like, just, do you see, like, does it have access to, like, processes?
It should be able to, yep.
Can you see processes called Granola? Because the app is Granola. That app and the menu is Granola. Because, like, here I can see the Granola is, it's called Granola here, right?
All right, so it found multiple processes, including the main app, several helpers. It doesn't currently appear that there's a list of windows he can access. So if you command tab real quick and just hold that down, yeah, it's just called Granola. Recommend you manually access the Granola app, open the relevant meetings. If you're able to do this, I can assist you further. Okay, so this is not going to work for us either.
Okay, that's interesting.
All right, you know what? Let's go back to Zapier and see, like, is there something else that we can kind of connect in Zapier? Like maybe Zapier is just having like a temporary kind of thing. Like,
Well-
like, I'm really hoping we can get this working through Zapier, because Zapier's got this really nice MCP setup where anything that you kind of build in Zapier, they can expose an MCP endpoint, and then you can bring that into Goose, and then Goose can access everything from that Zapier workflow.
So you mentioned that there was, like, you were telling me about Pulse MCP, right?
Yeah, so this website has a whole bunch of MCP servers on here. And so if you click on MCP servers partway down, let me share this this URL out if anybody else wants to go check this out. So pulsemcp.com/servers. And at the top here, we can search for all kinds of things. You know, you could search for, we had talked about, like, can we put this stuff in Google Keep? Somebody actually made a Google Keep MCP. So you can actually search for Google Keep, and you'll find that MCP server. And then it'll have the installation instructions and so on, searching and creating and so on. So up in the top right corner where it has the GitHub repo, that's going to have your installation instructions. So that would allow Goose then to put these things into Google Keep, but we need a way to let Goose access the data in the first place. Now, one thing I'm curious about is how Granola stores the data on your system. If it's storing it in some kind of file, could we have Goose go scrape those files and then push that into Google Keep? Do you happen to know how Granola stores the data on your system, or is it all stored in the cloud?
I don't know. Let's see. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, it's doing it securely. So
okay, so it's storing it on their side probably. So your app is probably accessing the cloud and so on. All right, so that's probably not going to work for us either.
If it was just files, then we could just rip into those. That would be great, right?
Yeah. So someone asked, is it possible to ask Goose to build a script to pull from Granola? Granola doesn't have an API, because that was my next thing. As soon as we saw Zapier not working, I'm like, well, we'll just get Goose to write a Python script or something to go scrape the data. But Granola is really limited as far as how they expose their data, and they only have like a few integration partners. It might be kind of interesting to go back, actually. Let's go look at the other integration partners, because there were a couple of tools there, like Notion and so on. Like, if we can push these into Notion, Notion has an MCP server.
So they have, Slack, HubSpot, Notion, Zapier, and Affinity. I don't know what Affinity is. I've heard of all these other ones.
Right. I'm curious what Notion will do. Like, does it just copy the data into Notion?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's just going to copy the meeting notes. But what we could do is push that from Granola into Notion, and then we could have an MCP server grab that from Notion, parse through the meeting notes using GPT, and say, go find my own action items, and then go put them in, Google Keep or whatever other system where you actually want to keep track of those to-do items.
Yeah, and it could create to-do items in Notion as well.
Yeah, but then we're bypassing Goose. That's the whole point of the live stream, is like, how do we get Goose to do things?
No, I mean, what I was saying was, like, it could actually create a to-do list in Notion. Goose could actually take it from notes in Notion to create a to-do list in Notion. If that's what I was using. But yeah, like, actually putting it into Keep would actually be the helpful thing for me.
Right.
That would work. I don't have a Notion account, but I could set one up real quick.
I'm just trying to think of what we already have. I mean, let's try and go back to Zapier. Let's see. Maybe it was just a temporary thing, and we just happened to be unlucky, like the moment we were trying it. So let's go back over to Zapier. I was like, I want to actually talk to somebody from the company and say, how do you pronounce your company name? Like, I pronounce it Zapier. Some people call it Zapier.
So I think I want to say it was because I think they call them Zaps.
Right.
So it's Zapier, but I don't
Zapier?
I can't remember.
Maybe. Well, let's go over to Zapier then, and let's see if we can get the Zapier plugin sort of working with Granola again.
In true demo fashion, I'm going to go right here where we were playing before. And then let's go here, and I'll go to Granola, and we'll see if we can get this. So add all again.
And this is where clicking this button, like, nothing happened.
Yeah, because we did this before. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So Zapier is just not having a good day with Granola, unfortunately.
And we had these up here before. We were just let me remove these real quick.
Yeah. We were trying to see, like, can we
What-
access Google Tasks, or what
We're
can
just seeing
what else
all
could
the-
we do with Zapier? Yeah.
What would work, what wouldn't work.
Right.
If it was everything or just us or what. So
Right.
this is troubleshooting, and
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try. I did a refresh, a hard refresh. So let's try again. Give them because like, look, to their credit, they have like 5,800 integrations, and if
They
you
got a
ever
lot of
like worked on an integrations team, these companies are all independently. They're moving and shaking and doing all this other stuff, and so stuff breaks, right? Like, they have one of the hardest jobs in the world, keeping all these things together, and so like no fault. They've got it rough, and so one breaking, like as somebody's trying to do a demo, like good grief. So like I'm not mad at them. So yeah, that's not going to work. The only other thing I was thinking, Ian, was like we did talk about, and it's not ideal in any way, but it is a workaround. There is a way that I had looked into where we could set it up so that you actually create a folder. Where anytime a note goes into a folder, that actually triggers a webhook at Zapier that then the MCP server can handle.
Okay.
And then Goose can actually look at that webhook or look at the MCP server for the webhook being triggered, and then we might be able to do something with that. We could try that.
So Goose is typically reactive based on a chat or based on like a recipe where you're saying like, hey, go grab the latest data. So Goose isn't going to sit and listen to a webhook in that regard. So we can connect to the Zapier MCP, but the way that Goose works is you're telling Goose like, hey, go get this information. It works with the LLM to figure out, oh, I need to go talk to the Zapier MCP, and then it connects to that to see what's available based on the instructions that Matt is giving me.
So an MCP is not going to be a post out; it's going to be a request in.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So Goose is an MCP client listening to the MCP server at Zapier, but it's not going to maintain like a persistent connection like all day, every day. It's meant to be like a reactive kind of thing. And so you're typing in a chat saying, go get this information, and then it's just going to go grab that as one shot. So Zapier would need some way of like storing that some way that you could then retrieve later. That's why I was really hoping that this was going to work, that we could have Goose talk to Zapier. Zapier's getting the information directly from Granola in real time, and then giving that to Goose, and then Goose could act with that data.
This is gross. Like we would have to be all kinds of gross and like set up. We'd basically be setting up a database, and then we're going around it all the different ways.
Right.
So the ideal scenario is that we get Granola to the Zapier Granola to work, and then we go from there.
Right. So what I'm looking for now is I'm doing a Google search for Granola MCP, and just seeing like what have other people built as far as MCP servers to interact with that. And of course, Zapier comes up as the fourth one. It's like, oh, you can totally connect with your Granola actions using any AI tool that supports MCP, which would be great if Zapier would talk to Granola, because that looks like it's not going to work properly. I'm really kind of curious why Granola doesn't have like its own MCP or API. So Granola AI API. So the Affinity one, it looks like Affinity then would act as an API, but that would mean you would have to get Goose to write you a Python script to talk to Affinity to go talk to Granola in order to grab your data. So it's going to be very much a multi-hop kind of system here. All right, let's see what else we can do. So, I mean, if we had those document IDs, I mean, one thought here, again, this is kind of the manual process that I was hoping to avoid, but if we could store those notes somewhere, or like the document IDs. Mm-hmm. We found that other MCP server that would need the document ID that I sent you in the private chat message. If you could just store those meeting IDs, so once you finish your call with a client, you have that document ID right away. Could you just copy and paste that into a file? And then we can just tell Goose, like, hey, go watch that file for document IDs. And if you see a document ID, go grab the notes out of it and go parse it for to-do items, go add it to, whatever system, and then delete that document from the list. And so that way, you'll basically, if you had it open, you would just see things like get deleted in real time kind of thing.
What I could do is I could put it into my Google Keep as like the document. Yeah, because what we could do is probably set it up so that I have like a task list or like a note where I put the document, and then I have a to-do list, right?
Right.
And so then there's just one where I put the document IDs and one where I put the to-do list items.
Right.
And so then Goose can just pull and push.
Okay. Yeah, we could try something like that. I was really hoping that the computer controller would have been a good workaround here, because normally Goose can go take screenshots and then kind of sort of do its own image parsing on that to see, okay, what's the menu item that Matt's asking me to go click on? And then it'll figure out, okay, it's at these coordinates, and then it'll go click on those things. Like, it has that ability. It's just Goose can't find that app right now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what? So I do have to stop sharing because I got kicked out of my other key. Oh wait, no, I can. Let me see. How do I get? I got kicked out of my other Gmail account real quick for the demo.
No so leave that. Oh, I was going to say leave that on. I can just remove it from the desktop, but that's fine.
I'm just gonna pause sharing real quick for just a second so I can jump
no
into that Keep account, and then I will. I'll jump back in. I apologize. We're going to try to avoid that, everybody.
No
but
worries.
then I jumped out of that, so that's what I get. Okay. Now I am back. There we go. That only took a half a second. So here's what I was thinking. I can do a. So this will be granola IDs. So I can go in here and I can grab one of these. So it's not like this is our temporary workaround, right?
Right.
And then I can do.
Well, let's just see if Goose can access this to start with.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So now I have the two lists, right?
Okay. So let's go back to Pulse MCP then, and we'll go find that Pulse MCP server for Google Keep.
I cheated. I opened it earlier.
Oh, okay, great.
Because we showed folks how to do it, but we can go find it really quick.
Yeah.
Let's go back here.
MCP servers, yep, and just look for Google Keep, and then we click on that, go to the GitHub, and then let's zoom in on this GitHub page because it's kind of tiny for everybody, and we'll scroll down a little bit because it looks like there's a little block of JSON code here, and this is basically what we need to connect within Goose. So it looks like there's environment variables for Google email, and it looks like it needs a Google master token. All right, so it's going to tell you how to go get a token from Google to make this happen. So we'll go figure that out in a moment. Well, actually, we'll need that first because in order to set up this as a Goose extension, we'll need to go get that token. So it's asking for a couple things here to obtain that token. And then let's click on that one first. And we'll go see like what's it going to take. So let's zoom in here. Oh, we got to do a Docker thing just to go get a token.
That's
all right. That's not ideal either.
We don't have time for that today. Sorry, I scrolled past the important part here. So it looks like we'd have to like go in and modify some files and go and do this. I didn't have all this set up, everybody. So,
right.
Okay.
All right. So that's not going to work. All right. Let's see, like, what other things would be helpful for you from a business automation point of view? So we need. Well, actually, let's do this. Instead of the Google Keep, I know that we wanted to put stuff into Google Keep, and that's not going to work well
Well,
for
you know
us.
what?
But
Like, why do we have to? Goose can manage through the browser, right?
it should be able to, as long as you're logged in for Google Keep. Yeah. So we can try to tell Goose, like, can you access Google Keep in my browser?
Yeah.
And let's give it some multi-step instructions. Access Google Keep through my browser. Find the list called granola IDs.
And grab the first.
Grab the document ID. But from there, we need to set up that other Pulse MCP server for the granola. Or actually, it wasn't from Pulse. It was the third party. We're going to have to go set that one up. It was from Smithery, I think.
Okay. So you sent me that in that private chat, but I'm sharing my whole screen.
Yep.
So how do I look at that without sharing it?
Oh, well, no, it's I sent it over the StreamYard chat, so you can just pull the StreamYard window up on the screen real quick.
Yeah.
And go over to private chat.
Yeah.
And just click on that.
Okay.
Wait, what's it say? Missing
authorization header.
All right. Oh, we're having all kinds of luck here today.
Locked at every turn here.
All right, let me try this. I'm going to put it in chat for everybody to see. So this is the link that I'm trying to send to Matt. So Matt, you have YouTube open. Maybe see if you can access it from there. There we go.
I found it.
All right. So this is the tool that we're going to try and get working, but this requires us to know the document ID. So let's zoom in on this so that other folks can see it. What we want to do here is we want to try to see, like, how do we actually get this installed? So there's a bit of a view more on here, but that doesn't really tell us very much. What we need to do is we need to go look at like on the right side where it says auto JSON TypeScript. Let's click on JSON. Oh, sign in, really?
All right, that's fine.
Yep.
Y'all are gonna get my email. Don't share. All right, we're in.
All right, so let's go back to JSON. And now, wait, it's looking for an API key for Granola. So that means Granola has an API.
It does not through the app.
All right, so that's not going to work either.
Is this the same granola?
Yeah. For the AI assistant and so on, yeah. All right, so that's not going to work either. Granola, go build an API already.
I know.
The world runs on APIs. Okay, well, that's not going to work either then. Let's see.
That's really interesting that they're saying
Because,
that. I wonder if they had an API at one point and they pulled it because, like, they were getting hammered. That would actually make a lot of sense. Or like they made a deal with, with somebody.
Yeah.
To not use that. That's really interesting. Anyway.
All right, so that's not going to work either. All right, well, let's think of something else that we can automate.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, these links are public, right?
Okay.
So let me go back here. I think they are. So, like,
oh, perfect. Oh, that's all we need then.
I think this is a fake link. So, and this is a fake meeting note. So, like, let's go into our meeting.
The Ian from Block. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go into our comment.
I didn't realize that was actually a URL. So if that's just a URL, then that's all Goose needs. You can tell. So there's a fetch tool that we can use here. And we can just tell Goose, like, hey, go fetch this URL and go pick up any to-do items.
Okay, so can you grab the first granola URL through my browser, find the list program, and grab the first granola URL, and then fetch
open that
action items from that URL.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes like the most obvious stuff is right in front of your face, right? I
Right.
don't know why we didn't think about going to that. trying to do it the hard way here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what it does here. I wanted to do it the awesome way, Ian, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Sorry, Zapier. We would have totally told everybody your tool was awesome, but we cannot.
Not today, but there are some awesome things. I've done some really cool stuff with Zapier before. So
now this is it looks like it's going to try and use Safari, and you're not going to be logged in. So we can just say try again using Chrome.
And the other thing that's fun is that it's probably going to be in the wrong user. I'm going to have to tell it to use this URL because it needs to use the right user. Trace Chrome with this URL, so we have the right Google user. Okay. So just for everybody at home, U/3 says the third logged in user. It's a fun Googleism.
Yeah. So if you're like Matt or myself, where you got like half a dozen Google accounts, you got stuff on all the different ones. All right. Well, let's see what this can find for us. All right. So there, it activated the browser.
That's awesome.
Now what's it going to find from there, I wonder?
Let me zoom that in, and I'll pull this over so we can see what Goose is doing. Look at that.
All right. I've opened Google Keep. Please let me know if there's anything specific. So yeah, from here, say, look for the list of granola IDs, and you might need to put granola IDs in quotes. And grab the URLs, and then open those. I don't know if it's going to have enough control. I mean, it might have enough control. I don't know if it's going to know enough about how to use Google Keep to then go into to-do items and add them in to-do items. But I mean, that would be a pretty neat thing to do.
See what it does from there.
So someone's asking in chat, first time seeing granola, what does the copy link button in the top right do? It looks like it's giving the same URL maybe that we're seeing here in Google Keep. So it's just giving you the public URL then that you can access that as an actual URL.
This link here, you can also copy text or like email it. So this will open up whatever your OS's mail to link opens.
Right.
Yeah.
What we were hoping for, just for the sake of anybody else tuning in, what we were hoping to do is have Goose actually access the Granola app and be able to go grab that information. But Goose is having a hard time locating that specific app because it has multiple processes running and it wasn't sure which one actually had the UI in order to go activate it and so on. So we're trying a different route. Since we have that list of URLs, we're going to try and tell Goose, like, hey, go grab that URL and go see if you can extract the data here. All right, so we're going to access all of this. Let's get started. Okay. So it's telling us several times over what's, what do we want to do here? What's the plan? And then we'll try to figure out from here. If you have any specific actions, just tell it like, can you access the list of granola IDs to find the URLs? And this person's actually asking from the home screen that has a full list of all the notes. It looks like there might be something to go grab maybe. Copy link up in the top right corner, the green button. It's hard to see on your screen. What does the tooltip say? Only people at
it's like my
okay.
business can view opens in browser.
Right.
So it's just a way to share this folder with folks.
Right. Okay, so can't directly interact with the browser. Okay. All right, so that's not going to work either. All right, we're like 0 for 5 at this point.
That's interesting. I'm surprised it can't like click into that.
Well, when you click into that, though, you actually have a new URL at the top.
Yeah.
Grab that URL and say, can you access this URL and see the list of granola IDs? Because that URL wouldn't change as you add other granola IDs. That URL would still stay the same for that Google Keep note.
take a look.
And then just say, can you see links for granola.ai on that page? Can't access the content of the browser window.
So,
Okay.
Ian, I'm wondering too, like, is this, so I'm using GPT-4o, right? Excuse me. Is this the model that I'm using?
That's so down at the bottom of Goose, if you click where it says GPT-4o, you can actually change which model you're using at OpenAI.
Yeah.
So click on OpenAI, and then it'll give you a list of, nope.
Oops.
Just pick OpenAI from there, and then say, yeah, you can basically pick from a list here.
Now, like, would switching the model give it more access, or is it?
That's a great point. So models have different capabilities as far as what they understand what to do, but ultimately Goose is kind of the tool caller. And so the LLM would be able to, so basically Goose is sending information to the LLM basically sends instructions back to Goose, and then Goose acts on those instructions. And so while the LLM might be able to say, like, this is how to get that data, it looked like Goose wasn't able to actually access the content on the page. So I think that's still not going to work for us.
So okay.
Because even if we use, so there's an MCP server called Fetch, but if this stuff gets loaded through like JavaScript and you have to be authenticated and whatever, Fetch is going to work really great on like anonymous URLs. So we would be able to use that if we had that list of document IDs in like a notepad file on your system. But then you like to still put that into Google Keep, you would need to be able to tell Goose to interact with the browser at that level to say, like, go click this, go click on this, now go do this. And it looks like that's where we're having a hard time.
So now what's interesting, so when I just asked it what contents can you see on the page, now Goose has asked if it can record the computer screen and audio, which it hadn't asked for before.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So I'm wondering if maybe because we hadn't had that turned on, maybe there was something there.
Okay. Well, let's give that a shot.
So now it's going to want to quit and reopen. So let me do that real quick because I'm on Mac, and you know how Macs are.
Now, the nice thing about Goose is we can resume the previous session. So once you open Goose back up, I'll show you how to grab that. So on the left side, you'll see a history button, and you'll just find that last one. Yep, click on that. And at the very top, you'll see a resume button.
Oh, cool.
And that'll basically restore the chat to where we were. So if you scroll all the way back down to the bottom, you can basically continue chatting from there.
Awesome. All right, let's do that. Okay. How about now? I am going to fix that because that was terrible. Okay.
Can't directly view the content on your screen. Okay. All right.
You know, the thing, okay, so this is not, now I'm going to be fair where credit's due. What is amazing is Goose is trying its hardest. What we are running into here is there are all kinds of security protocols between browser apps and computers, which goes back to the days, like this is me and my gray beard showing, goes back to the days of like IE 5.5, where it had access to the file system directly because the file browser and Internet Explorer were actually the same application.
It's the same thing, yeah.
And it created all kinds of fun security problems that we were using, but didn't realize that we were creating all of these ridiculous application issues and security issues by using these things.
Right.
And so people would add these like browser extensions, which then like release their tax files to the internet and all of this stuff. And so there's a lot of things that are going on here between the application running on my machine and the browser that they're not actually able to interact because of those security protocols. And so this is not Goose's fault, and this is not Chrome's fault. This is actually security doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Right.
And you know, this is like, I am being nice here, but I'm also being realistic. You know, and so this is partly, you know, us, like we didn't set this up to be a like troubleshooting session, but this is how this goes.
Right.
And we just have to we have to figure this stuff out as we go.
Yep.
And so we're
work
playing
through
it, and we're working through it. And this is half of what I end up doing with my customers and my clients, and playing around. The other day, I was in a meetup where I was helping somebody. We were showing them how to. We used a tool to build a landing page, and we put a form on it, and we were showing them how to use actually make.com to post the form to a spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. And I was moving too fast. I had too much caffeine. I was getting excited. We were showing off, blah, blah, blah. And seriously, 2 minutes to go, I saw that it had 401 unauthorized, which means I did not have the API key. I saw it. Right. I refreshed. I saw it. I refreshed. I knew what I needed to do. In the back of my head, my brain was going, API key, API key.
Right.
Past that. I got off the call. I copied the API key in. It worked. I sent the guy that ran the meetup, and I went, dude, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done. And like in the meeting, people like sent him messages, and they were like, oh man, that was great. Like it totally didn't work. And I was like, I'm so embarrassed. And he goes, no, actually people love the fact that it didn't work because they saw you troubleshooting it and trying it in real time and all of that. Right. And I was super grateful for that. But at the same time, I was like, oh man.
So let's take a different approach here. Let's grab that granola ID out of Google Keep.
Okay.
And what I want to do is I still want to store this in a different file. So let's go make a folder on your system somewhere. And we're going to make 2 files. One is going to be like, we'll call it URLs. And the other one's going to be like to-do list or something like that.
Okay. So like just in documents here?
Sure.
All right. So
we'll make a folder, and we'll just call it, granola or something like that. No, just call it granola. We're gonna make some documents inside of there.
Okay.
So go into there and make a new text document, and we're gonna call this one granola, or just call it like documents.txt or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Open it in VS Code or something. Yeah, or Cursor.
I'm sure. Cheat and do this.
Yep.
All right. So CD documents, granola. Oh gosh.
And then let's zoom in here as well, so folks can see what we're doing. So actually, yeah, you can go ahead and touch the file, and we'll call it like documents.txt. We'll keep it simple, and then we'll make another file, and we'll call it to-do.txt.
Okay.
Okay. So now we'll open the documents.txt, and we'll paste that URL in there.
Okay.
And then, we can just close that. So now what we're going to tell Goose to do is we're going to tell Goose, like, we're going to start a new session in Goose. So let's go to Goose, and we'll start a new window in Goose. So,
okay.
Yep. And because what's nice about Goose is whatever we do in this session, we can tell it to save as a recipe. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, go open the document, or go open, or in my documents folder is a subfolder called granola. And inside of that are 2 documents called documents.txt and to-do.txt. And then the second sentence is we're going to tell it what to do with these documents. And to-do.txt.
Okay.
So now you can do like Shift Enter, and this will start a new line. And what we're going to tell it here is open the documents.txt, and for each URL that you see listed, go fetch the content of that URL, parse out any to-do action items, and write them into to-do.txt.
Okay. Oh my gosh. All my I love
all your
that
alerts are going off here.
Yeah. Write them into to-do.txt. Okay.
And then let's see what it can do from here. Oh, okay. And then actually that's fine. That's okay. So you can go ahead and allow that. Okay, so it found that URL.
Oh my gosh.
And it's going to go parse all that info. And then there's your to-do list extracted. All right. And then let's go open the to-do.txt and see if it actually showed up in there. Nothing yet. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to remind Goose, like, go write those to-do items into the to-do.txt file. I can't quite see what it says on here.
Oh, what?
Command plus?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay.
It outplussed itself.
Conversation has exceeded the model capacity. What? I didn't think it fetched that much. So this might be a context window issue.
I think because of the content here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that it would have been that big though.
So it grabbed these.
So it grabbed the items. So that's good. But then it ran out of context to then go actually write that into the file.
What?
What's it asking for?
Goose would like to access Apple Music, your music and video activity, and your media library.
No, say no.
What were the to-do items here? Let's see. Technical concepts, files, errors, files. Okay. It said live demo prep, backup plan, content creation. Oh, that's why. Into educational post video session.
But we're not telling it to go do something, like we're not telling it to act on these to-do items. We just wanted to extract these to-do items and put the items in this other file.
Oh, okay. It's actually trying to do those things.
Yeah, so let's hit the stop button.
Okay.
And just say, don't do the instructions in the action items. Just write the action items into the to-do.txt.
Action items into the to-do.txt file for me. Yeah. That's awesome that it's like actually going to try to do them though.
Well, that's why we built Goose, right? Is so that when it gets a list of instructions, it's going to go try to actually act on those instructions.
Why is for action, man? That's great.
Yeah. Well, we wanted the assistant. So Goose got its name from the Top Gun character.
Yeah.
As like, you're the Maverick and you've got a co-pilot and it's going to go like help you with your things. And so that's what we wanted to go do here. So we might need to remind Goose, like it's in my, documents / granola folder. And then once this is working, then we'll have Goose kind of summarize this and say, write me a Goose recipe to go do this on a regular basis. Now suddenly it's thinking really hard about it. Okay, so found the documents.txt. Is it going to go fetch it again?
Ooh, I like that logo. That's nice.
Yeah, our team has been really busy making the UI really nice and friendly for people to use. We wanted to build a tool that you didn't have to feel like an engineer to go use AI. All right, so it went and fetched all of that.
So this time what it's doing is actually optimizing the context window, which I think is interesting. So it actually grabbed the text and saved it to a file instead of pulling it into the window. That was actually really cool.
Well, the other nice thing about Goose is it will actually auto-compact the context window as well. So here it's actually parsing that data because it still has to send that data to the LLM in order to determine what those to-do items were.
So I wrote a scraper at one point to do something like this. And one of the things it did was pull out all the HTML stuff that it didn't need.
Right.
So that it didn't have to pass that all into the, and eat all those tokens, which was cool.
Right. Cool. So what you can do here is you can actually click on the stop button and then you can say, find the to-do items in that document and write those into the to-do.txt in the same folder.
Oh, because it's actually like helping with all the other stuff that we did.
Yep.
Got it.
So here's a summary of it, which is fine, but we actually wanted to go write those into that file. Okay, now we're going to write them into to-do.txt.
Awesome.
All right, there we go. So if you open your to-do.txt,
There we go.
all right. So now what we can do is we can tell Goose, okay, so in the Goose window, say, write all of these steps into a Goose recipe for me. And save that in the same folder and call it recipe.yaml. Now, there is a way that we can say, like, hey, actually store the session. The downside here is that the session had all this back and forth, where we maybe don't want all of that back and forth to end up in the recipe. But yeah, let's go open this in just a text editor. So this is what a recipe looks like in Goose if you want to zoom in. So we have a version number, we have the steps like open documents.txt and fetch the URLs, and then extract and parse the action items, and then write those actions items into to-do.txt.
Interesting.
And it's got the folder names exactly where we want them to be. Now, in this case, it actually hard-coded that URL. So
can we like put a placeholder in there, like URL?
Maybe. Because in this case, we can actually tell Goose like to go correct the recipe.
Oh, cool.
Because it's also hard coding those to-do items as well.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to tell Goose, like, write me a recipe to go fetch the documents.txt, go through each of the URLs it finds, and write all of their action items into the to-do.txt.
Can we have it like, can we have it update the recipe, or do we want it to actually rewrite the recipe to be more generic?
We're going to do both. Yeah.
Okay. So what should I say?
Well, let's do this instead. Let's start a new session where it's like clean, and we'll give it these exact paths. So in the recipe that's there, let's go grab those paths for the documents.txt and the to-do.txt. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to give it exactly step-by-step what we want it to do here. So no, we don't want to resume another one. We're just going to start a fresh one here. So what we're going to say is I want to build a recipe to do the following steps.
This is zoomed in though.
Yep, it's good. And then hit Shift-Enter. That'll get you to a new line. And so say, open this document, yep, and find all URLs in the document. And then step 2 is going to be fetch each URL and find the action items mentioned in the URL. Yeah, in the content. Yeah, in the content is fine. And then step 3 is write the action items into, and then we'll paste the path for the to-do.txt.
Append.
Yep, append the action items. But we want it to separate using like the document ID or something like that. Just that way they're not all jumbled up or something like that. Separated by the URL. Yep. And then for step 4, what we want to do is say, if that is successful, then delete the URL from documents.txt. Yep. So let's go back and let's clear out the to-do items file. Just empty it out. And then what we want to do here is at the end of the Goose prompt, before we submit it, let's go back to Goose. And what we're going to do here, yeah, it's just because you're zoomed in.
Yep.
You can zoom out a little bit if you need to. But what we want to do is we want to say save this as a recipe and call it, and give it the path and call it recipe.yaml.
Okay. Can we do like recipe2.yaml for now?
Sure.
So we can
Yep.
compare it. All right. And go ahead and save it. Send it.
Yep.
All right. Oh, look at that. All right.
So there's the recipe.
Oh, I was so close with my parameters. I did double curlies.
Right. So someone's asking if you're going to hit the context window if Matt happens to have too many meetings in a day. Yeah, the first time we run this, we could have that problem for sure. Is Goose able to track the models window and break up the request? That's a really good question. Goose actually has like auto compacting on the context window now, even if we run this in headless mode. So what we should be able to do is just tell it to run, and as it detects that that context window is getting full, it should auto compact it even in headless mode. All right. How's that recipe looking there?
It is there.
Okay.
Open with text edit, and let's zoom that in. And it looks just like the one that it had in the... Oh, it looks slightly different, actually.
Yep. But it's also got like the condition of success and so on that last step. And that's really what we want. So what I want to do from here is our to-do.txt is empty, correct?
Yep.
Okay, let's go back to your Finder. What I want to do is I want to save a copy of the documents.txt. So just like copy paste, and it'll just make a copy of that file.
Yep.
Just that way we have a backup copy. What I want to do now is in a terminal, go to a terminal window and navigate to that folder.
Okay. There.
You're already there. So on the command line, what we're going to do is we're going to type goose run -- recipe space and then like recipe2.yaml. And we'll hit enter on that. Now, oh, you don't have Goose CLI. Sorry. We're going to have to go download the Goose CLI.
Can I
keep forgetting. No, there's no brew install for it yet. But if you just go back to block.github.io/goose and install Goose, and there's a CLI at the very top.
Oh, I just didn't get that one. Okay.
And there's, you can just grab that and just go run that in your terminal. I keep forgetting to close these chat messages at the bottom here. So you shouldn't need to configure providers. The nice thing about the CLI in the desktop version is they'll share the same config. And so you can say configure providers, but we'll just leave everything kind of as is. So go ahead and hit enter on that. And then hit enter on OpenAI.
Perfect.
And it'll ask, so what you want to do here is type in your laptop password and then say always allow.
Oh, always allow. Oops.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll keep prompting you for that password.
I'm just so used to hitting enter on everything.
Yep. And say no on this. So we don't want to update the key. We don't want to update the host. And you can just hit enter on this for the default. And now it's probably going to ask you which model. And so you can pick from here which one you want to use.
Okay.
All right. So now what we want to do, it says Goose is installed, but local bin's not in your path. So we can just copy that export command for now. But we'll need to put this in the path at some point.
Yep. This is because I am doing something non-standard. That's on me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now let's go run that recipe command again. Yep. Undefined value in current template 10. So what we can do now is we can go back to Goose. And so copy that error and go back to Goose and say that recipe didn't work. Yep.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you gotta go soon.
It is okay.
Cool. So this should then kind of auto-correct. So this is now we're getting into vibe coding, basically, where we're saying like, hey, go build this thing. And then we're giving it corrections to do, and it's going to go update from here. So Did it write that file though?
It
Can you
says
scroll
it
up a
fixed
little
it.
bit? Okay, so let's go just try and run it again in the terminal.
Oh.
Nope. So, yeah. All right.
I'll just copy it and paste it real quick.
Okay.
There. Save anyway. All right. Let's go back to terminal. Nope. Same error, even with the fixes.
All right. If that doesn't work, then I've got one more trick up my sleeve. Okay, it says it's going to write the recipe file. It's working on it. Okay, let's try it one more time. And if that doesn't work, then I've got one more trick we can try. Well, it gave us a different error that time. Copy that error again.
New error.
So if this doesn't work, then what we'll do instead is we'll open a fresh, or what we'll do is we'll tell Goose, like, write me the steps that I can put in a new Goose window to do this. And then we can just save that session as a recipe. Okay, it's missing a title. Actually, we can just manually add that one. So up where it says like steps and description. Oh, you pasted in the wrong one. All right.
Okay, so this one, yeah, it's got that. Let's do it.
Yeah, so go back to that file, and at the very top of it, yeah, just add a title and just call it like Matt's to-do list or something.
Okay. So it needs an overall title.
Yeah. And a description, apparently. And you can just put anything in here. Just put an empty string if you want, yeah.
Field description.
Do we spell it right?
Oh, capital.
Oh, yeah.
Silly me. Perfect. No text
provided for prompt. Oh, so we need a prompt inside of here as well. So, all right. So let's take a different approach. Let's go back to the top of the Goose window where we gave it the instructions to go do. Just go grab all of those, except for the very last line. So we want to do everything but tell it to save a recipe. So just copy that, and then let's start a new Goose window. And we're just going to paste that in here. It's going to go do that work for us. So go ahead and send that as is. And then we can save this session as a recipe.
Okay.
So we're going to go let it do what it does. And then we're going to save this as a recipe. Okay, it's working on it. Wait, subtask to create a recipe. We didn't tell it to create a recipe here, though.
Didn't.
It's interesting that it thinks it needs to make a recipe out of this.
I'm having one of those days where I can break everything in. I think I interrupted it.
Okay, we'll take a new approach here. So if we expand the window out to the left a little bit, go to recipes on the left.
Okay.
And at the top right corner, there should be a create recipe button once that opens. of course it's not working.
It's because I've got it all goofed up with the expansions.
There we go. Go into create recipe, and then we'll just call this like to-do list, and then the instructions here. For the description, yeah, so we'll say you're a helpful assistant that's going to go build my to-do list.
Granola. There we go. You are a helpful assistant to build to-do lists. Oh, you know what? I want to build a recipe. That's why I did a recipe.
Okay.
Okay, so these are our steps from before. Do we want to do that?
Yep.
Okay.
And then, yep. So the initial prompt, just say like make a to-do list or make my to-do list, and then we can start to wrap up from here.
Okay.
So this one's optional. You can, yeah. And then we'll give it a recipe name. We'll call it to do. We'll make it global. Yep.
Preview.
Yep. Oh, actually, no. We can just use the recipe from here.
Okay.
And then we should be good to go. So at this point, you can. Yep. Go ahead. And then you can, in your prompt, it's already written the prompt for you, so you can just send it from here. And then that should go do the work for you. Now, because it's stored that recipe, you should be able to use Goose run on the command line. And then you can set that up as a cron task on your system to just go run that recipe as a cron task.
That's cool. So you can do this like 3 or 4 different ways.
Yeah.
And because we're trying to do all of these various things with all these tools that are trying not to work with each other in the hardest way possible.
Well, if Zapier ever starts working with Granola again, it'll be a little bit easier process.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's doing it, and
yeah,
it's great.
Cool. So now, like I was showing you in the terminal, you can do Goose run, and you'll just give it the path to that recipe name, and it'll go run that. So then all you need to do is when you're done your meeting in Granola, just grab that document, pop it in that documents text,
right,
and then set that cron task every hour or something like that. And it'll go through and it'll grab those URLs and build out the to-do list and so on. And you should be good to go. One thing you'll need to double check though is that it's actually deleting the old URLs so that you don't end up with the repetitive tasks in there.
Right. Which that's an easy, like I can just work with Goose and figure that out.
Yeah.
Troubleshoot it, do all of that. Yeah.
Yep.
Right on.
Good deal. All right. Well, cool. Glad we're able to automate that much, at least. I was hoping for a little bit easier way of doing that with the Zapier and Granola MCP, but the demo was not meant to be today. So
I forgot to eat my red vines and do all the things you're supposed to eat before you do a demo.
It's probably a full moon or something stopping us. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, thanks again, Matt, for your time, and thanks for hanging out with us and learning about Goose recipes and how we can go through and like automate fetching those URLs and so on. It ended up being a little bit of a manual process, but from there, now it's going to automate that. It'll build out your to-do list. It looks like it even wrote it in a markdown format. So you can go through and like literally check the checkboxes when things are done. And one step closer to automating some of your workflow.
Here, just putting it in the chat right now. It did. It actually made it even cleaner that way. Oh, it failed to post it, but it did. It made it super clean. It gave me a triple header, made everything in like really nice list. That was actually the cleanest version that we got in that last 30 seconds. So that was
good deal.
That was amazing.
All right. Well, thanks again for your time, Matt. And thanks everybody for hanging out with us today on the live stream. You can definitely go check out like our, let's give you some links here. We've got a really great Discord community. If you want to go check it out, discord.gg/block-open source. Come hang out with us in Discord. We've got all kinds of fun stuff going on. If you've got questions about Goose, we're happy to hang out there and answer your questions. So definitely come hang out with us. And if you want to go play with Goose yourself, block.github.io/Goose. And we'll catch everybody on the next stream. Thanks again, Matt.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.